All right, folks, this is a follow-up to a video we did yesterday, and it is so damn funny. A MAGA Fox news host who has recently been on one hell of a losing streak humiliated himself last night on his own show in a desperate attempt to back up Donald Trump, who in turn had been humiliated by Democratic Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. And the whole thing backfired on live TV, and I can't wait for you to see it. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is chef's kiss. This is perfect, okay? Before I show you the clip of Will Cain, and when you see him, if you don't recognize the name, you'll be like, oh my God, that guy, he's just taken one L after another. I can't wait for you to see this. I have to remind you of what Will Cain is trying to respond to. So this is Donald Trump yesterday in the Oval Office talking about Democratic Governor Wes Moore of Maryland.
And inside of this country, Baltimore is a horrible, horrible deathbed. It's a deathbed. I know Governor Moore said, oh, he wants to take a walk with me. He meant it in a derogatory tone. I said, no, I'm the president of the United States. Clean up your crime and I'll walk with you. But it's tremendous crime. But he was trying to be derogatory. He doesn't have what it takes. But he's trying to be derogatory. And I met him at the Army-Navy game. They said, oh, there's Governor Moore. He'd love to see you. He came over to me. He hugged me, shook my hand. You were there. He said, sir, you're the greatest president of my lifetime. I said, well, it's really nice that you say that. I'd love you to say it publicly, but I don't think you can do that, so it's okay. But no, sir, you're doing a fantastic job. I want to just shake your hand. Thank you very much, Governor. That was it. And then every time I see him on television, he's knocking the hell out of me.
Okay, so that is what Donald Trump said, that not only did Governor Moore shake his hand and hug him, but he said, you're doing a hell of a job and you're the best president in my lifetime. You're the greatest president in my lifetime. And we did a video about this yesterday because Governor Moore responded he goes, LOL. He goes, LOL, and then he says, keep telling yourself that, Mr. President, okay? Now, I said at the time that seemed pretty far-fetched, okay? This is where this guy comes in, MAGA Fox News host Will Cain, because he's going to prove Trump right. He's got the receipts. He's going to back Trump up. And I want you to see this because this is glorious. Of all the recent Will Cain fails, this is probably the most humiliating.
Knocking the hell out of him. Wes Moore is posting on social media saying that President Trump can't walk, but maybe he should walk the streets of Baltimore. It didn't take him long to respond to the president there in the Oval Office. He said, LOL, keep telling yourself that, Mr. President. It'd be wild, though, if only we had the footage that President Trump had referenced about them meeting at the Army-Navy game. And thanks to the Art of the Surge on Fox Nation, we have the footage.
Okay. Brace yourselves. You hear how smug Will Cain is? He's like, oh, if only we had the footage, except we do. Check it out. Okay. See how enthusiastic he was in teeing it up? Pay very close attention to what happens and then how Will Cain reacts at the other end of the clip.
Mr. President, welcome back to Maryland, sir. Welcome back to Maryland. It's good to see you.
In person, too.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Great to see you. And great to have you back here. Great to have you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we are very, very anxious to be able to work closely with you. And I know the Key Bridge is something that we're specifically. It's going well. I mean, we spoke with Speaker Johnson yesterday, and Speaker Johnson says he believes that we're close to the 100% cost share. And the thing is, I told him when we get that 100% cost share done, we are going to be able to go over the Key Bridge under your watch, because I will have it done in 28. On time and on budget.
We'll help you out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you see the look on his face right there when he realizes, fuck, I oversold that and I didn't have the goods? Because he didn't hug him. Was he enthusiastic? Yes. But note what he did not say. He did not say that you're the greatest president in my lifetime and you're doing a hell of a job. Now look at Will Cain's face and listen to what he says to try to spin this.
We didn't hear their greatest president ever, but we did hear a lot of enthusiasm and so excited to meet you, Mr. President. Who's telling the truth? We'll let you decide.
Who's telling the truth? Probably the guy who actually told the truth. Wes Moore. It was Donald Trump who said, Westmore told me I'm the greatest. You're killing it. He said, sir, you're killing it. You're doing an amazing job. You're the best president in my lifetime. And I told him, I said, you should say it publicly, but I understand if you can't. And now Will Cain, in real time, he's watching. He's like, oh, shit. I can't say that Trump screwed up. I can't say that Trump made a mistake. But I also, I can't say what he didn't say. So we'll just say, oh, you decide. That's embarrassing. Of all the recent Will Cain humiliations, and there have been many, we've covered him quite a bit here recently, that is by far the most embarrassing. Tim Miller of the Bulwark says, well, the footage shows who's telling the truth, though. Keith Murphy, Dems can't compete with this. Fox News is state TV. That channel gets played at our military bases, doctor's office, diners, brazen lies, propaganda, Russia, North Korea level. This is how we get here. This is why Trump is back in office and about to send troops to Chicago. And this is me. I'm like, okay, doubling back to emphasize how insanely dishonest Fox and MAGA are. Trump, Wes Moore said XYZ. Moore, no, I didn't. Fox, we have the footage. Fox plays the footage. Fox. Okay, so Moore didn't actually say XYZ in the footage, and we can't ever say that Donald Trump was wrong. So, I don't know, you figure it out. Wes Moore never called Trump the greatest president. Thanks for exposing the charlatan, Fox News. I want to say this. I blocked someone that's a huge Democrat that supported me because they said Wes Moore was playing the game like how we're taught in black households, and she said something slick about him and me. I stand by what I said. Not sure what that's in reference to. This Fox News hack ran a video of Governor Wes Moore not telling Trump that he's the greatest president ever, then asked his viewers if Moore told Trump that. Watch your own fucking video, bozo. Do you really think your viewers are that stupid? Well, they're watching Fox, so... Jonathan Martin, who's a journalist, says, I mean, what's the point of playing the video that contradicts what Trump said and then come back and suggest there's some kind of ambiguity? Man alive, the contortion's demanded. This from the party of, the left says there's your truth and my truth and their truth, and we hate them for it because truth is objective, just like facts, which don't care about your feelings unless your feelings get hurt. I'm not even mad. That's so funny. Shows footage of Moore not saying what Trump says he said. Who's telling the truth? This fecking hack is unbelievable. Trump lied, and Will Cain brought the proof to America that he is a liar. Thanks, Will Cain. Paul Carroll. This is not a hard question, Will. Dave Agar. Trump claims the governor hugged him. He didn't. Trump claims Moore said he's the greatest president of my lifetime. He didn't. This adds to the mountain of shit Trump is trying to force feed to the world. Here is the proof. And let's roll the tape for a major burn. And no burn. So funny. Also entirely possible that when Moore said, great to see you, great to have you back here, Trump's barely attentive brain just heard, quote, you great, extrapolated it into the flattery he expects from every smiling person he meets, and formed a clear memory. So funny. I just love this. Who's telling the truth? What the fuck are you talking about? He didn't say what Trump said he said. This is who pundits want to lead the Democratic Party and run for office. Okay, so this person here is attacking Governor Moore. And listen, I get it. Part of me was frustrated to see Governor Moore so friendly to Donald Trump. But think about it. This is the dilemma, folks. This really is the dilemma that governors have under the Trump administration. Gretchen Whitmer has this problem in Michigan. Wes Moore has this problem. Gavin Newsom had this problem. He just recently decided to burn the bridge totally, which is that the federal government plays a huge role in helping blue and red states. They just do. Right? If a disaster strikes like the California wildfires or something going on in Michigan or a bridge collapse, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, that's what Governor Moore is referring to. It collapsed under the Biden administration. The Biden administration, President Biden passed funding that would allow the Francis Scott Key Bridge to be funded, the repairs to be funded by the federal government. Trump's trying to take credit for that, by the way. It was Biden and the Democrats who did it, not Trump. Although Trump could probably screw with it now that he's in power now. But this is a really tough position because while I have no doubt, I mean, Wes Moore, the video we discussed yesterday, Wes Moore finally started to really troll Trump, making fun of him, talking about how he can't walk and all these things, and if they need to get him a golf cart. So Wes Moore can bare his teeth, can show his teeth, but he also has to serve his constituents. And when you have a president who is so vicious and cruel and petty, that puts governors of the opposite party in a really difficult position because Trump has repeatedly threatened to withhold federal assistance. He did it in his first term, and he's threatening to do it again in his second term, threatening to withhold federal assistance from states who displease him, from states who don't say nice things about him, from states who criticize him. That's a really tough position to be in. And I have no doubt that the impulse is to crush him, at least rhetorically, right? But they also have to serve their constituents. This is the tightrope that governors must walk, and I don't envy them that. For what it's worth, Governor Whitmer, I wasn't happy with how she responded to, the ambush in the Oval Office by holding up her, a folder over her face when Trump ambushed her. He was signing some sort of authoritarian executive order. He brought her into the room. She didn't realize what she was stepping into. She was caught off guard. I was frustrated because it's like, okay, you need to expect going into this that he could pull this shit on you and be prepared to respond instantly. She failed. But her approval rating in Michigan is really high. Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania often criticizes Donald Trump as well, but he has a very high approval rating, and he is willing to work with the Trump administration. They have to walk a tightrope here. So people who are upset with Governor Moore, I get it. I really do. And viscerally, it feels gross. But he is a governor of a state, and every state in this country depends to some degree on the federal government, and the federal government is being run by a vicious, cruel piece of shit. This is the prisoner's dilemma. That's why it's important to never have a Republican president ever again and to constantly vote the Democrats into power. And by the way, imagine how Republican governors would be if the shoe was on the other foot. Now, we've never been in that situation because Democratic presidents like President Obama, President Biden, President Clinton have been gracious and bipartisan when red states experience a lot of trouble. Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, had multiple disasters in Florida that required assistance, financial or otherwise, from the federal government. And he was cruel to President Biden. President Biden didn't go down there and say, hey, asshole, listen to me. If you ever open your fucking mouth and say anything about me negative again, I will squeeze the state. I will just squeeze it. Biden never did that. Biden never even hinted at it. Biden enthusiastically granted emergency relief requests, went down there, was very gracious. Trump is not that guy. So I just want to say I get it, but going back to it, for all the enthusiasm that Westmore, the kindness, I should say, that Westmore showed, the civility that Westmore showed, he didn't say that you're killing it, Mr. President, and you're the best president in my lifetime. So Trump was lying. And this MAGA Fox News host proves it. It backfired. He proved it on his own show, and you see the look on his face where he's like, oh, shit, because he probably didn't watch the clip before rolling it. Pretty pathetic. I love to see it. Love to see the Fox humiliation. Let me know what you think in the comments.